Hello, I'm Rowan, and today I am going to be talking about Mr. R's early childhood. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this is that there's been situations that have probably maybe had some effect on his development. And again, maybe they're just reflective of the person that he is. So, yeah, this is going to be me blabbing about Mr. R's childhood and coming up with thoughts about how that really affected his development and how Mr. R's really not much of a boy. He's kind of a girl. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video that's coming up, and if you have any questions, please leave comments, because what the heck? It'll be more for me to digest and figure out. So here we go. There was this tradition where you would dress up your little kid in an outfit, from way back when. So in the United States, maybe a little cowboy or an Indian or a little prairie girl, stuff like that. And of course, in Asia, they had similar traditions. So Mr. R's mom dressed him up as a little warlord and a little girl. And that was interesting because usually you only pick one or the other. And no idea why she did that, but as it turns out, that was his first time ever cross-dressing. The reason why I bring this up is that I kind of think that he was much cuter as a girl, and well, that was obviously my personal bias here, but I do think he was cuter as a girl. So Mr. R spent the first 7 years of his life pretty much entirely being bonded with his mother, because, well, she was the only adult in his life. Mr. R's dad, being in the military, could only visit every now and then when he had leave. And, leaves weren't always that long. And on top of that, Mr. R's dad and mom had just gotten together. I mean, this was literally, they weren't even married. This is one of those magic things, right? We all think our parents are perfect. And then we find out years and years later that they weren't married when you were 4 years old. But being that they were not even newlyweds, but they were, in the first 7 years of being together, they spent a lot of time with each other, as young couples will. And that meant that Mr. R had babysitters, and it wasn't a terrible thing, but, that's just the way it had to be between there being a war and, his parents being a newlywed couple, not even newlywed, but, being a new couple. And that meant that Mr. R spent a lot of time with women in his life and not a lot of time with men. So that's kind of the way it happened, that Mr. R, I guess he was feminized. I don't know. He was just raised a girl because, well, his mom taught him to sit on the toilet because that's the best thing to do, is to sit on a toilet. If you're a woman, that's what you got taught, and she didn't teach him to stand up and pee. Why would you do that when you could just sit on a toilet? And literally, she had a special toilet for him that, had the regular toilet seat and a little baby toilet seat that would nestle right down on top of the regular toilet seat. And I remember Mr. R telling his mom that, this was a very fancy toilet seat in his own way, because, there were seats for little tiny babies and seats for normal sized people. And then if you took all the seats up, there was a giant seat for really big people. Yes, that's child logic. But That's also child logic when you've never experienced someone standing up to pee and having to raise all the seats. So, that's just an example of how your childhood will affect you, and what influences you have as a child will affect how you develop. Mr. R didn't see somebody standing up to pee until much later in life, because nobody ever did that. He was never taken to a men's restroom because he was a child, and you went to the bathroom with your parent, and the only parent he had for the majority of the time was his mom. So yeah, that's kind of a little insight into how his development kind of set him up to be a girl, I guess. The fact that you never stood up to pee doesn't mean you're automatically a girl, but it does put a check mark in the girl direction. So let's just move on from there. How does this relate? Mr. R grew up with women, and he made friends. I think he had a couple of friends before the age of 7. It's not like he didn't make friends, he just couldn't keep friends because, well, number one, if you move every 1 to 2 years, it doesn't help. And number two, when you make friends and you end up doing boy things that get you in trouble, Mom tends to say you don't get to play with those boys anymore. And then there you are, no friends. It's hard to say that it's all his mom's fault, because it really isn't. Everybody back then was just trying during a war, and it's a tough time to grow up, and you do things according to your role models. His mom it wasn't for a lack of trying. She did expose him to things. You know what it's like being a 5-year-old and going to a judo class? Oh, yeah. Oh, and there was this culture of bathing, and moms would take their children with them to go bathing. And, when you're a little baby, toddler, 4-year-old, nobody really thinks a lot about the fact whether or not you have a pee-pee, because it doesn't really matter. You're not old enough to know any different, right? So she would take him bathing in the public bath with all the other women in the public bath. I think that maybe if Mr. R had a dad that was around regularly, and this is not to knock his dad. His dad did a fine job of raising him and suffering through all of his eccentricities. But Mr. R's dad went the distance and tried so hard. But the problem is he got somebody who had 7 years experience being this particular way. And yeah, it's difficult when that happens. So yeah, maybe if there had been Mr. R Sr. in his early life, in his formative life, he would have had more boy influence, more male influence. But as it is, he grew up fairly effeminate and emotional, and, well, the emotional part I think just came natural, but I don't think he ever really fit in well with the boys. And this kind of set the scene for his youth in America. But that's gonna be for another video. This one's gotten to be quite long already. So if you like this video, come on back and maybe we'll have a video about stuff that happened to Mr. R after he got to the United States. And if you do like this video, like and subscribe, do all those things that all the other YouTubers are telling you to, because peer pressure is a wonderful thing, and you want to do it. But do it anyway, just for me. please. And that'll be great because I really want to see the number go up. Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason. Just number go up. Because I'm not going to make any money for this. I'm not going to, this isn't going to make me some superstar. It's just because I like doing stuff like this. And I like yapping at you, or yakking at you, or yappa-dappa doing at you. Don't get that wrong. I'm not into doing stuff like that. But, it's just because, well, I want to see how things go. And, it'd be nice to have more subscribers, to be more validated for the weirdo that I am. But that's okay. If you don't want to subscribe, if you don't want to like it, that's fine also. But the fact that you've gotten this far in the video means there's something that you like. So like, and maybe subscribe. Maybe you'll find out that it's the best thing that's ever happened to you and your whole world has changed and suddenly everything is wonderful and roses and sunshine and lollipops. Or it just might be Tuesday. But in any case, it was fun being here, and I hope that I see you again next time. So until then, I hope that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're having a great time. And again, I do hope to see you again real soon. Bye!